Happy International Women's Day!
Happy International Women's Day!
Happy International Women's Day!
Happy International Women's Day!
International Women's Day is an annual celebration on March 8th that has taken place for over a century and is a global celebration of the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women.
It is a global event where people come together to champion women's rights, female empowerment, and gender equality.
This year, on March 8th, 2022, Hollins University celebrates International Women's Day with a commitment to and reflections upon equity, accessibility, and identity, and how they impact women.
We will work for the equity for all women by
being bold,
being vulnerable,
being aware of our strengths and weaknesses.
বাংলাদেশের সব মহিলাদের জন্য সবাইকে আমি উইশ করতে চাই হ্যাপি উইমেন্স ডে
मैं एक औरत हूँ और दुनिया की सबसे मजबूत मखलूक होने पर मुझे बहुत फख्र है.
I define my identity as a Black woman, single parent, equity champion, mental health advocate, and a person who is a champion for all things equity, particularly advocating for our most marginalized and vulnerable populations.
ख़वातीन का आलमी दिन आप सबको मुबारक हो.
I identify as transgender, although I did live the first 18 of my years of my life as a woman. I know life as a white woman is a lot different than life as a Black woman, and so I'm just trying to do my part to be educated on it myself, not, making it anyone else's job to do that for me. Knowledge is power, they say, so I'm just trying to figure out when it's my turn to be quiet and when it's my turn to use my privilege to help others.
Ningependa kuhamasisha wanawake kuhusu elimu, afya na uzima wa mwili. Mwanamke anapopata elimu, kijiji kizima kinafaidika.
I want to work to increase women's access to quality education, and that begins in early childhood all the way through high school and higher education. I want to see more women in the humanities, in the STEM fields, in business. I just want to see more women in positions of power.
I want to work to increase women's access to quality education so they focus on themselves and make themselves a priority.
As a Black woman who comes from a Black woman, the daughter of a Black man with Black sisters and about 30 plus Black nieces and nephews, I will fight for equity for all women because I am a woman. I love all women, and I want to fight for equality for all women, regardless of our sizes, our shapes, our colors, our identities. We are all important. And we are all created to have space in this world.
During the women's rights movement that's currently happening, I want to increase my fight and also notability about women's reproductive justice within terms of abortion and making sure it's accessible for all.
मैं एक स्वतंत्र राष्ट्रशक्त दक्षिण एशियाली महिला हूँ.
Right now, there are a lot of little girls in danger from homophobic and transphobic laws in Texas and Florida, and I want to fight for them to be protected as well as all the LGBT plus girls in the world.
Hallo, ik ben Marijke. Ik werk in de bibliotheek op Hollins University. En dit is de Internationale Dag van de Vrouw. Welkom. En we zullen allemaal samenwerken om vrouwen te supporten.
I define my identity as a researcher, educator, traveler, and a lot more. Being a woman does not keep me from exploring the world.
International Women's Day and every day, we recognize the value that women bring to the workplace through their compassion, their drive, and their resiliency. We aim to empower women in their pursuit of opportunity for their careers and beyond.
On this International Women's Day, the word empowerment is very important. And in our work, we aim to support all women, all students at Hollins, no matter who you are.
Ndi umunyarwandakazi ushaka kuzamura abagore bose cyane cyane abagore b'abanyarwandakazi n'abagore b'abanyafrika.
In reflection of this year's International Women's Day,
I will work on supporting all Hollins students to realize their intercultural and international goals, both here at Hollins and abroad. 留学したい方は私の事務所に行ってください。Ich bin eine starke, lustige Frau. Die Welt sie herum erschafft.
Ich bin eine stolze deutsch-österreichisch-amerikanische Frau, die allen Frauen unterstützt.
On International Women's Day, we celebrate
equity, accessibility,
identity.
At Hollins University, we continue to work for racial justice and support equity and accessibility for women and their right to embrace intersecting identities.
We celebrate the rights for women of every race, creed, culture, and nationality around the world. Join us in this celebration.
In this video, we had the privilege of learning about others' commitments to justice for women and their efforts toward justice, equity, and access. We heard commitments to creating safe environments and supportive communities. For each of these commitments, there was one common thread: personal action. Whether it's the thoughtful and affirming exploration of our own identity, actively working to address harm and injustice, or fostering networks of support, each person identified what they can and will do to support women. This video proves that our individual work, much like our collective work, matters. Each day, we must work towards equity, justice, access, and more. And by each of us making individual commitments, each of us gets stronger and the world changes. Or, as Maya Angelou wrote, quote, each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it possibly, without claiming it, she stands up for all women. Let us stand up for all women in word, in deed, and in love. Levavi Oculos.